Break and enter. 2. Night work means sleeping with my cell phone stuffed into a tube sock under my ear. It's on vibrate, and it goes off at 2 in the morning, dragging me from what feels like the bottom of the ocean. This is my 3rd call, Safer says when I fumble it out of the sock. Now that you aren't a novice, you have to learn to be a lighter sleeper. How does a person learn that? I'll be outside your door in 60 seconds. Now what? I say when we're standing on my doormat. You're not dressed. Safer takes in my t-shirt and pajama bottoms. He's wearing jeans and a button-down Oxford, tucked in. What's the point? You said the whole idea is that we aren't supposed to see anyone else. He starts up the stairs. It's just, spies get dressed, you know. When we get up to Mr. X's, we both automatically look for the gum wrapper, which is still stuck in the door. Told you, Safer says. And can you guarantee that he won't come back in the next 20 minutes? In the middle of the night, Safer steps out of his shoes and lines them up on one side of Mr. X's doormat. I don't think I can go in there, I say. Safer opens one hand, showing me the little gold key. I have to know what this opens, George, and that isn't going to happen if we just stand here whispering in the hallway, is it? I shake my head. I can't. It's not right. He looks at the ceiling for a second. I could use your expertise in there, George, but if you aren't comfortable with it, you can stand guard. Stand here, you mean? In my pajamas. What if someone walks by? He pulls his credit card out of his back pocket. The pajamas were your idea. Like it would make a lot of sense for me to be standing here in a James Bond suit. Shh. No one is going to walk by, George. It's 2 in the morning. Then why do you need a lookout? He shoves the credit card between the door and the frame, just above the knob. Look, I need to know. Do I have a lookout or not? No, I say, you don't. Fine. Safer forces the credit card down in one quick motion and turns the doorknob at the same time. The door opens and he slips inside, closing it silently behind him. I pace back and forth in the hall for a minute and then run back downstairs. I get into bed and lie still, but sleep is not happening. I listen for footsteps above me, though the fact is that I have never heard a single sound from Mr. X's apartment. That's when my cell phone goes off. I've left it on my desk, where it buzzes against the wood and makes my heart practically explode. Hello? If you were a key, what would you open? Safer, I whisper. Where are you? You know exactly where I am, George. In fact, you're the only person who does. Oh my god, whose phone are you on? Are you calling me from his phone? It's not long distance, he'll never know. Safer! The key, George, think. Get out of there, you're freaking me out. Uh-oh, Safer says. Uh-oh, what? Shh, hold on. I hold on. I'm squeezing my phone so hard I'm surprised it doesn't shoot out of my hand and hit the ceiling. Safer? I whisper. Are you okay? Wait, he says. And then he hangs up. Or someone hangs up for him. Before I can even think, I'm back on Mr. X's doormat, staring at Safer's loafers. I put my ear to the door. Nothing. I hold my breath, put my hand on the doorknob, and turn. The door is unlocked. Quietly, I swing it open and step into Mr. X's apartment. It's pretty dark in there, so I can't see much. A wicker table piled with mail and magazines, an old-fashioned umbrella stand, and a green plastic watering can on the floor. I can see one corner of the kitchen because the light is on in there. It looks just like ours, with a big white fridge and white counters. Safer, I whisper. Safer saunters out of the kitchen, sipping a bottle of water. If you were a key, he says, what would you open? I'm speechless mad. I grab Safer's arm and pull him into the hallway. He lets me. What's wrong with you? I say when the door is closed. Safer steps into his loafers. Nothing is wrong. Well, there is one thing. I couldn't find anything I could open with this. He holds the key up between his 2 fingers. You scared me to death, and you turned me into a criminal. Do you realize that? A criminal? You're a hero. What are you talking about? You came to save me, didn't you? That's hero behavior. I don't care. I walked into someone's apartment, in the middle of the night. That's breaking and entering. It's not like you took anything, Safer says. Thirsty? He holds the water bottle out to me. Did you steal that? Did you open his refrigerator? I was parched. You're crazy. I start down the stairs. I gave you a gift, Safer calls after me softly. Now you know exactly what kind of person you are. You're brave, George. Your skills need work, but you're brave. Heat. Saturday morning, Dad wants us to go to MOMA, which is the Museum of Modern Art, which is just across town from Mom's hospital, where he says we can pop in for lunch. I tell him that hospital food is not my idea of lunch, and besides, I have a lot of homework. Dad settles for breakfast together at everybody's favorite diner, and then I walk him to the subway. He's got Mom's robe and some of those yogurts she likes in a plastic bag. When I get back to our lobby, I don't feel like going home. I don't want to chill with Sir Ott. I don't want to eat string cheese. I don't want to watch TV, and I definitely don't want to do homework. So I buzz Safer, even though it's on the early side, and I'm officially still annoyed at him for acting like a lunatic last night. He answers immediately. Did you buy any gum while you were out? Safer's asked through the intercom. I'm really in the mood for gum. I'm still mad at you, I tell him. I'm all out of gum. I had some gum this morning, but now I'm out. So hurry up. Safer must think I'm stupid or something. He buzzes me in, and I head for the stairs. On 4, I glance at Mr. X's door and see the gum wrapper tucked neatly into the door frame. Safer must have put it back last night after I stumped off. But I'm not up to spying today. I pluck the wrapper out with 2 fingers and run up to Safer's. I ring the bell and stand there holding the gum wrapper out in front of me, totally forgetting that Safer never answers the door. "What's that for?" Candy says when she sees me holding out the gum wrapper. "Nothing," I say quickly. "People are slobs." "That's true," she says, looking at me funny. I change the subject. "You never told me how old you are. Is it a big secret or something?" She narrows her eyes. "You never asked. I'm 10. 10, I repeat. Almost 10. I'm small for my age. "Yeah. If I was in school, I'd be in 4th grade. I looked it up." "Yeah, that sounds right." "If I went to your school," she asked me, "would I be the smallest 4th grader?" "I don't know the 4th grade that well," I tell her, "but there's actually one kid in my grade who's about your size." "Really? Who?" "Teresa Conchetti. She's always been super short." "Oh, that came out wrong. But she's really smart and also funny. She sits at the cool table and everything." I don't add that, last I knew, Jason had a crush on Teresa Conchetti, and that he actually stood up for her once in 6th grade when Dallas was calling her Terry Conchesti, but that was before. "With you, you mean?" "What?" "She sits at the cool table. With you?" "I don't sit at the cool table," I tell her. "I wouldn't even want to sit there." "Why not?" "Because half the kids at that table are total jerks." She looks at me. "Then why do the other half of them sit there?" I've wondered this too. Specifically, I've wondered it about Jason. I don't know. Maybe they think that if they sit there, they won't be victims or whatever. "So why don't you sit there?" "Because I would rather be a jerk's victim than a jerk's friend." She nods. "The friend of my enemy is my enemy." Somebody said that once. So maybe the friend of a jerk is a jerk. I look at her. Maybe. "You guys are both forgetting the most important rule," a voice says behind us. "Oh yeah?" Candy turns and looks Safer up and down. "What's the most important rule?" "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." "Meaning what exactly?" Candy asks. "Meaning maybe the friends of the jerks are only pretending to be their friends. Maybe they recognize the enemy and they're keeping him close." No wonder these two don't go to school. They would take it all a little too seriously. "You know what I would do?" Candy says. "I would decide that my table is the cool table. Anyone can sit there, and that would be that." "You can't just do that," I tell her. "Why not? Why do you get to make the rules?" "Me? Trust me, I have nothing to do with making the rules. Weren't you the one who just told me I couldn't sit at the cool table?" "I didn't say that." "You did, George. Think about it." "Goodbye, Candy," Safer says. "George and I have things to do." Candy humps and disappears into the kitchen, and I'm not all that sorry to see her go. When I'm alone with Safer, I show him the gum wrapper. "Looks like Mr. X came home," I say. "I guess it was a short trip." He looks surprised, very surprised. He takes the wrapper and rolls it slowly between his fingers. "It was on his doormat?" "Yeah, bummer, right? Now you can't act like a crazy person. I guess your whole day is shot." "Frustrating." Safer stares hard at the gum wrapper. Then he looks me in the eyes, and I get the distinct feeling that he knows I'm lying. Then he holds out his flask. "Coffee?" "Hey, did you tell him yet?" Candy calls from the kitchen. "You told me not to tell him, and then you didn't even tell him." Safer drops his arm. "The parrots are back." "The parrots are back," Candy says. We take turns looking at them through the binoculars. One of them, I can't tell, but Safer says it's always the same one, keeps leaving and then flying back to the nest. "He's carrying twigs," Safer says, "rebuilding." "Aren't there 2 of them? How come the other one doesn't help?" "I wonder if she's getting ready to lay eggs," he says, flipping through his notebook. "It's about that time, I think." We can't talk about Mr. X because Candy is there, but for once Safer doesn't tell her to go away. She brings out her stash, and we have a little welcome back party for the parrots. Starburst and the last of the chicks, ducks, and bunnies' sweet tarts. Pigeon wanders out of his room right before lunch, looking sleepy. Safer tells him about the parrots being back, and they high-five. "How goes it, George?" Pigeon asks me. "It goes okay." "You taking care of our boy?" He palms Safer's head. "I guess," I say, thinking that Safer pretty much takes care of himself. Pigeon smiles at me. "Good." Safer's mom is at an all-day wedding, and Saturday is his dad's busiest day at driving school, so Safer makes scrambled eggs for lunch and keeps his promise to teach me how. The secret of good scrambled eggs, he tells me, is very low heat. He turns the flame way down and stands there stirring the eggs in the pan forever, but when they finally cook, they're delicious. Candy makes toast and provides dessert. Then we just hang out doing nothing, which is exactly what I feel like doing. Dad calls my cell to check on me and puts me on the phone with Mom, and she doesn't sound too tired. When it's almost dinner time, I tell Safer I have to meet my dad downstairs. "We're going to Yum Lee's again. You want to come with us?" "I can't," Safer says. "Dad's taking Pigeon to his track meet, and my mom has the wedding. I have to stay home with Candy." "You can both come," I say. "My dad won't mind." "I love Yum Lee's," Candy says. "No," Safer says. "Mom left with ziti." "Isn't that the ziti Pigeon made?" Candy makes a face. "His ziti's terrible. I want to go to Yum Lee's." "No," Safer says. "Yes," Candy says. "No," Safer says. Candy walks up close to Safer and growls right in his face. Or up toward his face, I guess, since she's a head shorter than he is. "I hate you." Safer doesn't say anything. He just takes a step back. She stomps down the hall and into her room, slamming the door so hard the windows shake. Safer looks at me. I say, maybe another time? He smiles. She has a temper. He walks me to the door, and I tell him I officially forgive him for what he pulled last night. Safer says, yeah, I forgive you too. And he puts a fresh gum wrapper into my hand. He knows I lied, but I have no idea how he knows. A message from the chef. We can't see the parrots from our apartment, but when I'm walking to Yumley's with Dad, I realize that I can see the nest a little bit from the street. I tell Dad about how the birds' grandparents escaped from Kennedy Airport, and I point at the air conditioner they live under. It's that time of day when the sun seems to come closer and closer, sending this incredible light almost sideways. And all of a sudden we see a flash of color, and then, for one long second, a bright green fan of feathers against the sky. Wow, Dad says, that's amazing. And I can tell he's not faking it for my sake. When we walk into the restaurant, Yumley is standing next to the coat rack in his cooking clothes, which Dad calls his chef whites. You again, Yumley says when he sees us. Did you forget where the grocery store is or something? I'll draw you a map. Dad laughs and starts to walk toward an open table. But I don't move because I'm stuck in the spot I was standing on when I realize that the big table in the middle of the room is full of Jason's family. And Jason. And Carter Dixon. Now Dad has seen them. He booms, hello, and starts chatting away with Jason's parents. How's Sarah doing? I hear Jason's mom ask. I force myself to move. I don't get why I'm feeling so upset. I see Jason and Carter practically all day, every day. I walk over to their table, and I smile while Jason's parents tell me I got tall. Jason waves and says hi. Carter Dixon is looking at his plate. I follow Dad to our corner. You know what? We should have some people over soon, Dad says, when things calm down. I nod. The chicken or the beef? I ask him, because we always get one or the other. Like it isn't enough that we come to the same place over and over, we also have to eat the same thing. Whatever you want, he says. When we've eaten and finished our oranges, our waitress sets down the cookie plate. 3 fortunes, she says, plus a special message from the chef. Yumley has put the 3rd fortune cookie into the smallest to-go container I have ever seen, and underneath it is a napkin with writing on it. Dad picks up the napkin, turns it back and forth, and laughs. Not bad! It's a hand-drawn map, with a big red X in the corner where the nearest Met Foods is, the same one where that bird flew into the glass. Directions to the grocery store. When we walk into the apartment, we hear a voice leaving a message on the answering machine. It's Sophia here, Martin. I'm just checking into... Dad grabs the phone and walks to his bedroom. Hello? I'm here. What? The door closes behind him. I leave the tiny white box from Yumley's next to the Scrabble tiles on my desk and spell out a note for Mom. Good night, Cookie. Love, me. Then I fall asleep faster than I think I ever have fallen asleep in my life. Break and enter. 3. Sunday morning, the phone rings and stops, slowly tugging me out of sleep until I'm awake enough to wonder why Dad isn't answering it. I stood up and look at my desk. The white box from Yumley's is gone, and there's a message from Mom. Yum, Cookie. Love you. The phone starts up again. Today's the day, George. Mr. X went out this morning. We're going to find whatever the key opens. This is it. No, I say. There's no way either of us is going back into that apartment. Last time, George, I promise. Scout's honor. No. Have I ever asked you for anything? Safer says. I walk to the fridge, where Dad has left a note that says, at the hospital. Are you kidding? I ask Safer. You asked me to be your lookout the other night while you committed a crime. You said no, he points out, and then you tricked me into going into a stranger's apartment. That was purely voluntary. Very brave. Anyway, you said you forgave me. You asked me to stall your mom when you were going through Mr. X's laundry. I looked like an idiot and got brown goop on my leg. Besides that, you asked me to lie to my dad, I think. Well, I'm asking for something now, he says, as if we've just established that he's a saint who's never asked a single person for anything. I need you to back me up on the lobby cam. That's all, George. It's hardly anything. And I'm saying no. This is the last time, George. I'm going to hang up and give you a few minutes to think about it. I eat a bowl of cereal. The phone rings. The answer is still no, I say. Don't you ever say hello? It's Bob English who draws. Sorry, I thought you were someone else. I know. What's up? I've been thinking. Again? Very funny. Look, I figure the taste test will probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. The unit is almost over. He's right. In 2 or 3 days, I'll officially be the biggest steaming pile of spaz in the 7th grade. So if you're absent on Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll almost definitely miss it. You mean skip class? Of course not. I'm just saying if you're not feeling well or something. I feel fine. Think about it. I tell Bob I'll think about it. As soon as I put the phone down, it rings again. I know what I'm looking for this time, Safer says, but I would feel a lot better if you had my back. I'll give you some more time to think about it. I get dressed, telling myself I won't answer the phone when he calls, but then I do. Do you have my back, George? Can I count on you? I stand there holding the phone. What I'm thinking is that Safer is the only actual friend I've got, unless you count Bob English who draws. Should I count Bob English who draws? You still there? Safer asks. I'm here. I walk over to the lobby cam. Standing in my own private hallway, looking at my own private intercom can't be against the law, can it? Fine, I tell him. But this is the last time. The lobby is all clear. You're good to go. I knew it, George. I knew I could count on you. Look, forget banging on the pipe. I'm on Pigeon's cell phone, so I'll bring it with me and we can keep talking. If you see Mr. X on the lobby cam, just give me a shout. Great, burglary by telephone. I'm probably about to take one giant step toward the definition of conspiracy. I hear a swish-swish sound through the phone, and I know Safer's on the move. It's the same sound I hear when Dad sticks his cell phone in his pocket and it accidentally calls home. Swish-swish, swish-swish. Then nothing for a little while. Then Safer's voice. Okay, I'm in. So what are you looking for exactly? A book, he says. A book that locks? Yes, I did some research online. I think it's a key to a diary. Something old. He must lock it for a reason. Maybe he keeps a list of his victims or something. Just make sure you don't end up on that list. Why are you whispering, George? Because this is crazy, I say. It's the middle of the day. What if he comes home and walks in on you? Now you're whispering and yelling at the same time. Who knew you were so talented? Anyway, that's what you're there for, George, to protect me. Which makes me feel vaguely sick. Okay, Safer says. There are a couple of bookshelves, and then I have to go through the desk drawers and stuff. I'm sticking the phone in my pocket, but I'll leave it on so you can hear me. My mouth is dry, but I don't want to risk the 30 seconds it would take to get water from the kitchen sink. Think of Safer, I tell myself. He's crazy, but he's your friend, and he's up there with the handsaw, alone. Okay, the bookshelves have just regular books, I hear him say. I'm checking the desk drawers. Swish, swish. Nothing in the desk drawers. I'm going to check over by his bed. Swish, 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 swish. The intercom turns itself off, and I push the button to reactivate it. When the picture comes back, there's someone in the lobby. A tall man in a black jacket with the suitcase. Safer, I whisper. Nothing, not even a swish swish. I realize I'm whispering into Safer's pocket. Safer, I yell. Nothing. The tall man has let himself into the lobby. I start pushing random buttons on my phone, thinking it might make Safer's phone beep and catch his attention. The tall man is waiting for the elevator. I run to the kitchen and grab a big spoon. I start banging on the heating pipe. 3 quick, 3 slow, 3 quick. I drop the spoon and push more buttons. Safer! Safer! I yell. I hear a dial tone. I must have disconnected the call by pushing so many buttons. Stupid. So stupid. I don't even know Pigeon's cell phone number, so I can't call him back. On the lobby cam, the tall man is getting into the elevator, dragging his suitcase behind him. I give up on the phone and run out our front door, into the hallway. I take a deep breath and push the elevator button. I can't let Mr. X find Safer in his apartment. I have to stall him. And if I'm there, the guy can't kill him, because there will be a witness. Unless he kills both of us. The elevator's coming. Maybe it isn't Mr. X, I think. Maybe this is someone completely different, here to stay with a friend. Maybe it's some French person visiting Mr. Gervais on the 5th floor. I breathe. The elevator door opens. The tall man is standing there in his black jacket next to his suitcase. I notice his pants are black too. Lots of people wear black, I remind myself. Probably French people especially. The man smiles at me. Going up? No trace of an accent.